Hello, my friend. You are listening to CEO Soapbox Podcast with Neda, episode 1, and it's great to have you here. Today, we're going to tear down one of the most sacred cows in the entire leadership zoo, the myth of the visionary leader. You know the one? The lone genius on a mountaintop downloading strategy from the cosmos, while everyone else runs around trying to make sense of their cryptic pronouncements. It's a great story for Business Magazine, but in the real world, it's often a fast track to chaos, burnout, and a team that is more confused than inspired. So here's my promise for this episode. I'm going to show you how to ditch the performance of being a visionary and become the kind of leader who actually gets shit done. Let's be honest, being at the top can be a lonely place, and we're often dealing with pressure no one else sees, pain points that we never admit in a boardroom. Like, have you ever felt the secret terror of announcing a big, bold vision and then thinking, oh God, how are we actually going to do that? Or maybe you're drowning in a strategy session meeting with your senior team that generates more buzzwords than usual work. And what about this one? You know, the quiet frustration when your empowered teams are spinning their wheels waiting for your approval on every tiny decision because the grand vision was too vague to be useful? You wanted them to run, but you've accidentally tied their shoelaces together. It's a cycle of ego and inertia, and it's exhausting for everybody. So, what do we actually want? In my experience, there are three things we really want. We want clarity. We want our team to just get it without us having to micromanage. We also want momentum. We want to see real, tangible progress, not just busy work. And we want confidence, the deep down knowledge that our strategy is grounded in reality and our business is moving in the right direction. So here's my hot take, my core belief on this. Your job isn't to have all the answers, but your job is to build a machine or a team that finds them and acts on them. Action beats theater every single time. So let's break it down how to get there. First point, vision without a clear first step or any step is a hallucination. This matters because a grand vision is meant to inspire. But for the people on the ground who have to build it, ambiguity is terrifying. When you hand down a magnificent 5-year goal like become the undisputed market leader in widget innovation, what does your head of product do on Monday morning? What about your sales director? Without a concrete starting point and steps, they do what all smart and confused people do. They call a meeting, and then another one about this meeting. Or they create a committee to unpack the vision. They don't execute, they interpret. And trust me, you do not want interpreters. You want builders. A vision without a clear, immediate action attached is just a corporate poetry. Second point, we tend to mistake alignment for agreement. The common mistake here is thinking that because everyone nodded on that meeting, they're all on the same page. Bullshit! They're not. They've just agreed to stop arguing so they can get to lunch, or they actually don't want to come across negative or silly or stupid. Real alignment is not about getting everyone to like the idea. It's about getting everyone to commit to the same execution plan and a goal. The reality of leadership is what happens 2 weeks later when two of your departments are actively working against each other, both thinking they're following their vision. Third point, shift your focus from what to how. This is a practical shift. Spend 20% of your time on high-level vision, the what, but spend the other 80% obsessing over the how. How we will make decisions, how we will resolve conflicts between teams, how will we measure progress this week, how can we get there, what are we going to do? The visionary leader loves the what, but the effective leader that you are gets their hand dirty with the how. This means your most important job isn't crafting a perfect mission statement, but it's designing the perfect operational rhythm, the system, the processes that turns ideas into action and into results. So what are the solutions? How do we actually fix this? Glad you asked. It's simpler than you think. My recommendation first, you got to translate your vision into the critical path. What I mean is, what are the 3 to 5 sequential things that must happen to make the vision a reality? I'm not talking about hundreds of things, 3 to 5. I like simple. For example, if your vision to dominate a new market, the critical path might be 3 steps. Number 1, validate customer demand with a pilot group. Number 2, build a minimum viable product. Number 3, secure 10 paying customers. That's it. Suddenly, every department knows what matters most. Then, define the rules of engagement. This is a short document. I'm talking about 1 page. It answers questions like, how do we make decision? Is it by consensus, or does a single owner decide after hearing the input from everyone? How do we communicate? Do we default to Slack for quick questions, an email for official records? How do we disagree? You always have to have this. How do we disagree? Because people are loud. Is that okay to challenge ideas openly in a meeting? And when the decision is made, do we all commit? This single page will eliminate more confusion and, trust me, politics than any inspirational poster ever could. Okay, so how do you implement this starting next week? I've got you covered. Start by killing the visionary performance. That's the number 1. In your next leadership meeting, or if you're team of 2 or team of 1 with your own meeting, don't present a grand monologue. Instead, put a problem on a table and ask, what's our first step? Then I want you to run a simple diagnostic on your company's execution engine. So what I mean by that is I want you to ask yourself, what's our average time to decision on any issues? Does it take a day, a week, a month? How much of my senior team's week is spent in meetings versus overseeing the actual work? By the way, you will get to know me. Meetings gives me eye twitches. If your meeting load is over 50%, you don't have an execution culture, my friend, in your business. You have a debate club, and in some cases I've seen it's a social club. And finally, I want you to publicly reward execution over ideas. When a team successfully ships a small, boring, but important feature on time, and customers are happy, celebrate it more loudly than the team that comes up with this wild, game-changing ideas that goes nowhere. You get what you reward. So here's the belief that really going to challenge the status quo. And no one wants to say it out loud. But me, my friend, love to challenge status quo and love to say it out loud. The most valuable thing a leader can contribute is not a vision itself, but a relentless obsession with removing the obstacles to its execution and to the result. You're not the oracle. You're the chief plumber, clearing the pipes so the work can flow for your team. Let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. I love to give key takeaways. So if you remember nothing else, remember these 4 points from this episode. Number one, action beats theater. Stop performing visionary and start enabling execution. Your team will thank you for the clarity. Number two, I want you to translate your vision into a concrete first step. If you can't tell your team what to do on Monday morning, or if they have no idea and they're not clear about what to do on Monday morning, your vision, my friend, is useless. Number three, I want you to obsess over the how, not just the what. Your operational rhythm, meaning how your teams work, decide, and communicate, is your true and important strategy. Number four, your job is to be the chief obstacle remover, COR. Find the friction and the confusion and the roadblocks and clear them with ruthless efficiency. So my final words to you is to stop selling the destination and start paving the first kilometers of this path. This isn't about thinking small. It's about building a machine capable of achieving your biggest ambitions. All right, my friend, that is it for today. Thanks for joining me on the Soapbox today. I hope, did I say too many todays? I hope you got something valuable to chew on. And if it helped you, subscribe, leave a quick review. It keeps this show ad-free and BS-free. Join me next week because we're going to talk about profit is a leadership choice, not an outcome. See you next episode. Have a great week, my friend.